Why are avoidants like boomerangs? They go away and then they come back. And they do this a lot. I have seen this so many times, okay? In many cases, it's kind of like, yeah, okay, they've gone, fine, they're going to come back. But in this video, we're not just going to talk about that and the relief that you might feel from knowing that they might come back, right? But actually, I really want you to get the message that will connect you back to you, keep you grounded, and keep you in alignment with your values, your needs, and your feelings, okay? What you need for a relationship, because that's really important. But yes, we're going to dive into why avoidants do this and what to expect, okay? So before I get into this video, I want to let you know that I've got my new program, the Self-Abandonment Trap, which is my first live program in a while, where there'll be a weekly call, but it's very different from what I've done before because there's an element of creativity that I've never added into my programs before, which is so important because it helps us to process things in a way that is different than what we're used to. There's also the whole self-study section, which is all about learning about your own process, your own sense of self, and coming back to you so that you can break the pattern of abandoning yourself in relationships and therefore perpetually finding yourself in relationships that don't align with you and what you need. Okay, so this is going to be an amazing 6 weeks where you'll meet other people going through a similar process. It'll be great for anybody who is going through a difficult time with an avoidant who's in and out. Maybe you're in a breakup situation. You want something to focus on to help you feel better, more like you, more alive again, and more confident about relationships and love and the fact that you can create exactly what it is that you want to create. So if you want any more information about that, or you want to book in a discovery call with me, then you can find out all the information about how to do that on the website, or just sign up. There's only 10 spaces available, so I'd love to see you there. Right, so what's happened is the avoidants got overwhelmed. They either feel pressure, they feel not good enough, and they do what they do to regulate that feeling, which is go into flight mode. Okay, you got fight, flight, freeze, and fawn, and they most likely are going to choose flight. That's what they do. Okay, they avoid things by running away, and so they have gone off to regulate their nervous system. It's the only way they've learned how to do that. They're not very good at saying, I am feeling overwhelmed and I don't know what to do about this. Or they might even have thoughts that the relationship might not be right for some reason. And instead of giving you that completion and closure with that and the conversation that you might need, they just run, right? It's one of the really telling signs about an avoidant, actually, is if they are able to express to you how they feel about something, or that something's not quite right for them in the relationship, and they explain it to you, and then they go, they're less likely to be avoidant, right? They're actually likely to just be telling you there's something misaligned about this, and I need to step away from it to protect me and you, right? That's not necessarily an avoidant. That's someone who's telling you this isn't right. But if someone has just shut down and suddenly, without really any warning, gone, that's someone who's avoidant, who struggles with being honest and just expressing their feelings in a way because they feel unsafe doing it. Because in their childhood, maybe they felt that that wasn't safe to do, or they were going to be ridiculed, they were going to be put down. There was no one there to help them do that. So they went internal and they did what they felt was best for them to regulate, which was leave, right? So they've gone off to regulate their nervous system, and they will likely feel initially some relief from stepping away from the thing that was feeling a lot of pressure to them. It's not your fault that they feel pressure, okay? It's nobody's fault that people have nervous systems the way that they are. And in the best case scenario, someone who is avoidant starts to realize that they are avoidant, and then starts to be able to talk about it and say, I'm feeling this and I need to work out what it is that I need. And I don't mean that to push you away, but I am feeling this overwhelm, okay? And we need to work on it, like either together, or you need to give me a bit of space, but I'm just letting you know this is how I feel. They often really, really struggle with that unless they're doing the deep work on it, okay? And they feel like their feelings change, they feel odd, they feel like everything's wrong, they see the worst in things, and it just starts to feel like this is too much, I've got to go. So like I say, they go away to regulate their nervous system, and if you're chasing them and you're trying to get them to reply to you, you're texting them, double texting them, trying to make them feel safe, sending long overwhelming messages about how they can feel safe with you and you understand them and all of those things, that everybody's done that before, so don't beat yourself up if you have, then they are more likely to pull away even more and to shut down even more, because that starts to feel like pressure too. They don't want that. They want to feel like they can just come down in their own time. They don't need a big thing about how actually the relationship is really safe and they can trust you. They know that really, but it's the overwhelm that they're feeling that they want to be able to deal with in their own way. And they think that that will make you either reject them or you not feel safe. And so they start to feel trapped, right? So if they go away and then they have this downtime, however long it might take them, it could be weeks or it could be months, and they start to feel safe and you're not chasing them and you're not trying to figure it out with them and you've let them be, they will start to feel safer. And this is when they start to go, oh, there's no pressure there anymore. Maybe I should reach out. Maybe I should tell them what happened. Maybe I should apologize. Because they know on some level that what they did is not right, you know. They know that actually they've had an impact on you, but they haven't known how to address it. So much of the time, they'll come back and say something very small like, hey, or I saw this meme that reminded me of you. Anything that kind of doesn't open up the big can of worms that is emotions, right? They might try that first. And because you on the other side of it know that they are very vulnerable to pulling away if things get too emotional, you might respond to that and go, ha ha, or yeah, I'm fine, thanks, or something that is very small that still keeps them there, okay? And that's not a necessarily wrong thing to do, but just so you're aware of it, you're having to sideline your own feelings every time they do that, and you have to tiptoe around theirs, right? And that's the thing that a lot of people miss. They think, oh, when they come back, what shall I do? Shall I express how I feel? Shall I be really boundaried? Shall I not reply? And what matters most, honestly, is how you feel. What matters to you? What's going to make you feel safest? What's going to make you feel most complete? The thing is that if an avoidant comes back and they do this, that is not them saying, I want to be with you and I want to work on this properly and I really, really want to make this work, okay? So sometimes people will say to me, maybe they'll come back, maybe they'll come back, maybe they'll come back. And it's like, yeah, they might, they probably will come back. But if they do, it has to be that both people's needs are going to be met in this situation, and that you're not just going to be at the whim of their nervous system, which they're not willing to look at. If they're willing to look at it and they're willing to go to therapy, they're willing to like address it and do what they need to do, then the relationship can work and it can be really good, because both people can use the opportunity to heal and to have a conscious relationship. But often what I see is the avoidant comes back and then the anxious one has to tiptoe around them, and then if they say one thing, the avoidant like pulls away or gets defensive, or they can't take accountability for what they've done, and then the anxious one just feels like they're perpetually losing out. And so this is just to say that they often do come back when they start to feel safer in their nervous system. But you cannot create a relationship with somebody if they only are willing to be there when their nervous system feels completely okay. Because the fact of life is that our nervous system is going to go up and down all the time. We need to be able to build a structure and an awareness around our emotions so that we can actually handle the highs and the lows as well. And the same goes for you too, right? There's going to be times in relationships where you feel overwhelmed, where you feel trapped, where you feel something's not quite right, and you might be really anxious, for example, or you might feel avoidant, because honestly, anxious and avoidance are very, there's a fine line between both of them. They're both avoiding something. Everybody is avoiding something at one point or another. And the only way that we don't do that is where we really start to break the patterns that we've been doing. If you're anxious, that doesn't get you off the hook. That doesn't mean that you just need the avoidant to stop being so dismissive and then you'll be fine. It means that you actually also need to work on your coping mechanisms that make you so dependent on them being a particular way, right? And there's a really blurry line with this, because obviously we expect in relationships and we want reciprocity. Again, I don't know this word very well. I always say it wrong. Is that the right word? That we want there to be a two-way street. Relationships take two, okay? It takes two. So if an avoidant comes back, well, that's all well and good, but is it good enough for you? Is it good enough for you for them to just come back and say hi? Is it good enough for you for them to say sorry? And then what? And then what? They might be sorry, but if they're not doing anything about it, then that's not good enough for you. Okay? So this is a video to say they do often come back when they are less afraid of the pressure and the responsibility that a relationship requires. Okay? This is not to say that all avoidants are completely ill-equipped for relationships. That is not true. Okay? Because actually there are millions of people on this earth who have an avoidant attachment style, who want to be in a relationship and want to overcome the feelings and the responses that they know have been problematic in the past. And that makes them really good partners, and that makes them really good at creating a conscious relationship. And you have to just know the difference. Honestly, because are they willing to do that or are they not? Because if they're not, you'll perpetually be tiptoeing around them and going around in circles with the same dance. And until someone breaks the dance, changes the steps in the dance, this is just how it goes. So you can only take responsibility for your side of the street, right? You can't, as long as you try to teach them, mollycoddle them, you basically become a parent to them instead of a partner. And that makes them eventually very unattractive to you. And you don't like that. Whenever we lose attraction to someone that we loved, it's not very nice. We try and get that back. And then that makes us anxious because the attachment gets very confusing then. So yes, they likely come back, and they often do, whenever they have actually been attached to you in some way, but they've been overwhelmed. So even if you feel really sorry for them, we were talking about this in the living room today, you can understand them, you can feel really sorry for them, you can get it, you can have a lot of empathy for them, but sometimes that is still not good enough and still hurts you anyway. It doesn't matter if you have all the understanding about them in the world. If their behaviour and their lack of accountability is hurting you no matter what the reason why they do it. You know, so that's something to be aware of, that you have to get really strong about and resolute about, and know yourself well enough to stay strong about your own values and what your needs are. The problem that anxious people have is that they don't know what those things are and they expect someone else to fix it. This is where my new program, the self-abandonment trap, comes in, because it's not about them, it's about you. It's about you connecting back to you. It's about you knowing yourself to know what the map is. About you being so sure of yourself that you know if someone like this comes back into your life, you know what to do. You don't have to ask your friends or ChatGPT about it all the time, because you know yourself. The problem with ChatGPT is that it is stealing a lot of people's self-trust, right? And it is one of these things that we love, but it also creates this I need reassurance and I need to know what to do and someone tell me what to do. And anxious people really struggle with this. So I want your self-trust to grow and for you to feel connected back to you, so that you can see this clearly and know what you need. So if you would like to go on this journey with me and you're sick of the loop and you want to get stronger and you want to feel better and know what to do and not feel like they're controlling you, but actually you feel in control of you, not them in this situation in control of you. Okay, then come to the self-abandonment trap. It's going to be awesome. It starts on the 19th of May. You can find out all the information about that in the link below, or you can come to the living room as well, which is a beautiful space. We had a lovely call today. Again, it's growing. It's honestly, it's my favourite little thing that we've done here at Create with Corrie. Because it's a really nice, low pressure, very friendly, very safe space where we can talk about anything that comes up in the week and have that sense of community, so you're not on your own with this. So if you'd like to join any of these things, you can find out the links in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.